In places like California and New Mexico, May can feel like a month with a glitch in the matrix. Many families living along the border end up celebrating Mother's Day twice in the span of just a few days. In the United States, the holiday is a moving target. It always lands on the second Sunday of May, shifting calendar dates year by year. Cross the border into Mexico and the schedule changes completely. Dia de las Madres is locked permanently to May 10th, regardless of whether it falls on a Tuesday, a Thursday, or a weekend. We tend to accept these dates as simple facts of life, but national holidays rarely happen by accident. They are carefully engineered pieces of social architecture. These two neighboring traditions exist on a collision course because they were built using completely different blueprints. One was born from a daughter's personal grief, while the other was a deliberate product of media influence, religious doctrine, and economic timing. In the early 1900s, a woman named Anna Jarvis suffered the loss of her mother. Following her death in 1905, Jarvis began searching for a way to honor her memory. She wanted a personal, secular tribute. She specifically chose the second Sunday in May because it was the closest date to the anniversary of her own mother's passing. To push this localized memorial onto the national stage, Jarvis launched an aggressive letter-writing campaign. She targeted ministers, businessmen, and politicians, urging them to recognize a dedicated day of rest to honor mothers. The campaign worked. In May 1914, President Woodrow Wilson issued Proclamation 1268, officially designating the second Sunday of May as a national observance. The American version of the holiday was built from the bottom up. An organic, emotionally driven campaign formalized a secular day focused on maternal memory. Meanwhile, 1920s Mexico was experiencing intense cultural friction. Early feminist movements were gaining traction, and traditionalists grew concerned about shifting gender roles and the perceived threat to established family structures. Enter Rafael Alducín, the founder and editor of the Mexico City newspaper Excélsior. He had observed the newly established American Mother's Day and recognized its political utility. On April 13, 1922, Alducín used the front page of his paper to launch a massive editorial campaign. He urged the nation to adopt its own Mother's Day, running daily articles to drum up public support. The underlying agenda was clear. Alducín and his conservative allies utilized the media to glorify traditional motherhood, aiming to counteract the growing influence of women's rights advocates. Where the U.S. holiday grew organically from personal grief, Mexico's observance was explicitly engineered, a top-down political reaction designed to control social behavior. But this leaves a logistical question. Why did Alducín and his supporters reject the American moving Sunday model and rigidly lock their celebration to May 10th? First, they looked to Catholic doctrine. In the church calendar, the entire month of May is traditionally dedicated to honoring the Virgin Mary. The church and the media actively used the patriotic imagery of the Virgin of Guadalupe to sanctify the new holiday, giving it immediate religious weight. Then consider the economic reality of the 1920s Mexican working class. Many laborers operated on a repeating 10-day pay cycle. Fixing the date to the 10th guaranteed the holiday fell exactly on payday, ensuring families had cash on hand for gifts. By perfectly overlapping Holy Catholic tradition with literal paychecks, the architects of the Mexican holiday guaranteed its permanent integration into the national culture. Over the following decades, the American holiday evolved into a highly commercialized observance. The success was so immense that it ironically caused Anna Jarvis to spend her life trying to rescind the very day she created. South of the border, the fixed date gained its own formal recognition. In 1940, First Lady Soledad Orozco de Ávila Camacho adopted May 10th as a state-sponsored observance. Now fast forward to the present day. In 2026, the Mexican Congress began actively debating a brand new proposal. This legislation seeks to alter federal labor laws, aiming to transform May 10th from an informal cultural tradition into a legally mandatory, paid public holiday for all workers. The modern map leaves us with a stark divide. The United States observes a secular Sunday of rest birthed from a grieving daughter's grassroots activism. Mexico honors a fixed-date institution constructed by the media, the church, and economic strategy. This has been Wisdom for Your Day. For more, visit YouTube by the same name.